Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Alicia Silverstone Batgirl from the Batman and Robin movie. Arguably the worst Batman movie ever made, but makes for some pretty cool figures. I got this figure at GameStop today, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Batgirl, collect to build Mr. Freeze. Here she is in the package. We have Mr. Freeze's head, shoulder pads, ice gun, an ice blast effect, collector's card, display stand, and then the figure. One side of the package, Batgirl from Batman and Robin. Other side, simply says Batgirl. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and GameStop put their own barcode on top of the real barcode, so it's probably not going to help anybody. And on the back side, here's Mr. Freeze. Here are the parts you get with Batgirl. Here's instructions how to put Freeze together, and here is the rest of the wave. So with no further ado, let's open her up. And as you could probably guess, I got the entire wave at GameStop today. Gonna be able to build Mr. Freeze tonight. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. She comes with a display stand, a collector's card, and then some parts for Mr. Freeze. His head, his shoulder pads, his freeze gun, and a blast effect. But before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Batgirl from Batman and Robin. Played by Alicia Silverstone, and her real name is Barbara Gordon. In this universe, she's actually Alfred's niece, not Jim Gordon's daughter. So let's take a look. Starting with her face here. I think her face looks absolutely fantastic. Something is a little bit off. It doesn't exactly look like Alicia Silverstone. I mean, the lips look good, the nose. I don't know, something about the sort of forehead, the eyes, just a little off. I don't know, what do you guys think? The Batman domino mask looks fantastic. The eyes look great. The hair looks good. It's blonde, but it has some darker areas too. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it works really good as a Barbara Gordon Batgirl figure. As we go further down, she has double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. You can see the sort of bat fins here. She looks kind of thick, which is interesting because Alicia Silverstone is kind of like a small girl. I don't know. She has, I don't know, almost sort of Madonna-esque looking sort of bra on here. No nipples, as I think putting them on the female was a little bit too much, but they put them all over the males. We have some sort of bat symbols on the top of her thigh-high boots. She has sort of heels on here. You can see her rubbery cape. It's kind of going to one side a little bit. Nice little wrinkles in the cloth. Overall, I think the figure looks good. I really like the face, even though it seems a little bit off of Alicia Silverstone, but I just think it looks really good. I like it a lot. Likeness a little off, but as far as a toy goes, I think it looks fantastic. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt. I don't know, she just looks a little too serious. She was smiling most of the time in the film, but honestly, the shade of the face, the hair, the lips, it does look spot on. Just something just looks a little off to me. I can't quite put my finger on it. But I do think the head and face look excellent. Maybe not perfect for Alicia Silverstone, but excellent nonetheless. And I'll stop beating this dead horse with a stick after this, but I think her face looks great. It just looks more like a generic Barbara Gordon than specifically Alicia Silverstone. I mean, the hair, the skin tone, the lips, the mask, it's all the right color, but just something's a little off. I appreciate that it looks like a generic Barbara Gordon, as it can just be sort of Batgirl for whatever I want. Now, Alicia Silverstone is definitely the weakest link in a very weak film. She was just so cheesy. Her lines were so innocent and naive. Oh, hi, Uncle Alfred. And then they find out, Batgirl, and they're like, who are you? And she's like, it's Barbara. It's just so bad, and it made no sense. She's this college girl, then she suits up and becomes Batgirl, and Alfred already had a suit for her. It's just so dumb. But the figure looks good. There was also a thing way back in the day. A lot of people thought she was too fat to be Batgirl in the film, which I think is ridiculous. She was a small little petite girl. But I remember seeing an interview with her on some talk show, and she said the experience was horrible, and she was called Fat Girl by so many fans, and she was in depression because of this, and I was just like, what? Are you serious? Now let's check out her accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's our display stand, typical McFarlane stand we've seen time and time again. It's a black circle, very thin, very basic. Now for our collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Batgirl from Batman and Robin. On the backside, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. And now for the rest of her accessories. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any character-specific accessories. I wish she had a pair of gripping hands as bat gadgets, but she doesn't. She has Mr. Freeze's shoulder pads, head, gun, and then a blast effect. The shoulder pads are rubbery, kind of have some bend to them. The head has about the best Arnold Schwarzenegger face sculpt you could ever ask for. It looks perfect. Then we have the freeze ray and the blast effect. If you buy all 4 figures in the wave, you get to collect to build the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. Figure itself looks fantastic. Paint job is a little weak on his armor, but that's offset by an almost perfect head and face sculpt. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and her accessories, or lack of accessories, now let's check out her height. From bottom to the top of her head, standing at about 6.8 inches tall, which can translate to just over 17 centimeters. Now for articulation, starting with her head. Of course, you're going to rotate side to side. You can actually get her hair completely over her shoulders. She can look up and down that much, tilt her head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. She's got a butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering a large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that, double jointed elbows. Her wrist can rotate and it's going to be hinged as well. In her torso, she has a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in her waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in her torso area. You get more of the torso than the waist on her. Legs, complete dozen splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is better on her than pretty much all the other figures in the wave. Legs go forward about that much, back not at all. Double jointed knees below that. And then her ankle, forward and back, rotate, tilt rock, although mine seems to be stuck. I'll have to work on that. And of course, to articulation. Here's a look at Barbara Gordon. She stumbled in the Batcave, found out their secret. Now it's time for her to suit up. Here's a look at Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. They're intruding in Mr. Freeze's territory. Mr. Freeze shoots his ice blasts on each of the heroes. Will he be able to stop them? Batman and Robin intrude into her lair. She has to stop them. She blows some of her pheromones toward Batman. Then she goes and gives Robin a kiss, putting both of them under her spell. There's Poison Ivy laying in her base with Batman and Robin behind her, defending her, protecting her. Batgirl comes to save the day. Poison Ivy's pheromones don't work on her. Poison Ivy gets up, goes into attack mode. She wakes up some of her plant hybrid monsters to help take down Batgirl. The spell's been broken. Here's Batman, Robin, and Batgirl taking down Poison Ivy. Here's a look at all 3 of our heroes in the Batcave together. Family, partners, and then the camera does a close-up on Alfred and he says, "We're gonna need a bigger cave." Now let's check around. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Batman and Robin figures. Here's the entire Batman and Robin movie wave. We have Batman, Batgirl, Robin, and Poison Ivy. Buy all 4 of the figures, and you get to collect a build Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. A very solid wave. 5 characters from a bad movie that make excellent toys. Now the biggest omission is Bane. I hope they get Bane out here somehow for us. The only other Batman and Robin figure McFarlane made is the cloth cape George Clooney Batman from the Ultimate Batman movie 6-pack. And the only other 6 or 7 inch scale Batman and Robin figure that I have is the Mattel DC Multiverse Michael Go Alfred. This could be from any of the 4 different Burton or Schumacher films. Now starting around, next is some other Batgirl and Barbara Gordon figures, starting off with the McFarlane versions. Here she is, next to their first Batgirl. This is from The Art of Crime. And here she is, next to both versions of the 3 Jokers Batgirl. Then, with both versions of the Gotham Knights Batgirl. And now, with both versions of the Page Puncher fighting the Frozen Batgirl, although I believe this Batgirl is supposed to be Cassandra Cain, not Barbara Gordon. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batgirl figures they've made so far. The next one coming out is going to be the Target exclusive Jokerized 3 Jokers version. Here she is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Barbara Gordon Batgirl figures. Then, with all of my Mattel Barbara Gordon Batgirl figures. And now, with a couple of Barbara Gordon as Oracle figures. Barbara Gordon was first Batgirl, and then the Joker shot and crippled her. She became Oracle, and then she became Batgirl again. She's currently Batgirl in the Rebirth comics. A lot of people think that Barbara Gordon was the first Batgirl in the comics, and that is not the case. Betty Kane was the first Batgirl. She's from the old school Silver Age. Here's this Batman and Robin Batgirl, next to an older DC Direct. Betty Kane Batgirl. Betty Kane is currently Flamebird in the comics. After Betty Kane, Barbara Gordon became the main Batgirl in DC canon for many, many years. After Barbara Gordon, Cassandra Cain took over the mantle of the Batgirl. Here's this Alicia Silverstone Batgirl, next to a Mattel and a couple of DC Direct Cassandra Cain Batgirls. Rumor is McFarlane's going to be doing a proper Cassandra Cain in the near future. Can't wait to see that. Cassandra Cain is currently orphaned in the comics. And after Cassandra Cain, Stephanie Brown became the next Batgirl. Stephanie Brown is currently Spoiler, a Batman family ally. Now let's check her out. Next is some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's the entire Batman and Robin wave, collect to build Mr. Freeze. And here she is, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Deadly Duo Joker. Then, next to a couple of recent Target exclusive Gold Label figures, Midnighter and Wave Rider. And now, with the recent Target exclusive Flashpoint wave, collective build Cyborg. Here's Batgirl, next to the Amazon exclusive glow-in-the-dark variations of the Infected Batman, Titan Joker, Swamp Thing, and Jon Stewart Green Lantern. And here she is, with some recent Entertainment Earth exclusive Gold Label figures. We have the Blacklight figures on the left, and the Sketch line art figures on the right. Then, next is McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 2, both the regular and the Platinum Chase variants of Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. And now, next is the Injustice 2, Superman and Brainiac. And now, with the Last Stand on Earth, Batman vs. Omega 2-pack. And finally, here she is next to the Dark Knights of Steel Batman and both versions of the Jim Gordon Batman. Now let's check her out next to some action figures from different various companies so we can see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which ones you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect and work my way smaller. But first, let's check her out with some of her McFarlane Toys brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jakks Pacific and DST or Diamond Select toys. Here's Batgirl, next to a big pack of AA batteries. And here she is, next to some DC Direct and some NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Then, with some Mafex and some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, I think it's a fantastic looking figure. I know I just kept going on and on about how the likeness is a little bit off, but I really like what they produce. I like it a lot. The hair, face, mask, eyes, it's all good. The body, the armor, the sort of thickness, the articulation, really enjoying the figure. I really wish she had gripping hands and bat gadgets, but she doesn't. If I had to rate this figure, I'm going to give her a 7.5 out of 10. Enjoying her more than I expected, that's for sure. Considering such a horrible character was on screen, makes her a really nice action figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.